Tonight, several developing stories. The deadly gas explosion rocking a neighborhood, at least one woman killed, several people hurt, families running from flames shooting 300 feet into the air, homes destroyed, the siding melting off others. The breaking headline at this hour, the emergency medical response at the Kennedy compound in Hyannisport, Massachusetts. What we've just learned. Breaking news tonight from North Korea coming in now, their newest provocation and what U.S. officials have just revealed. The extraordinary images coming in tonight, the plane coming down on an American highway. The emergency landing, drivers right beneath the plane as it was coming down. In New York City tonight, the Iraq veteran and father charged in the deaths of his one-year-old twins, leaving them in an overheated car. His wife tearful, and what prosecutors have now decided tonight. President Trump tonight escalating his trade war with China, new tariffs, and how it could affect the prices you pay. Former Vice President Joe Biden fighting back tonight, what he's now saying after Democrats pounced on him last night. The urgent manhunt, U.S. Marshals searching for 2 escaped prisoners armed and dangerous, including an accused white supremacist gang leader. Tonight, one capture and where they're hunting for the other. The U.S. Navy fighter jet going down, multiple injuries, news late today on the pilot. Just in tonight, the punishment for this moment, that major brawl. And the list is long. Who got the worst of it?
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Thursday night, and we begin with that horrific gas explosion in Kentucky, and it was deadly. Flames shooting 300 feet into the air. It was all part of a massive gas pipeline stretching some 9,000 miles. The blast so powerful, families were running for cover, homes destroyed, the siding melting hundreds of yards away. Today, you could see the giant hole at that blast site, nothing but scorched earth all around. Those homes wiped out. At least one woman was killed, several others injured. And ABC's Alex Perez leads us off from the scene in Kentucky tonight.
It looks like the gas station exploded.
Residents jolted awake just before 1:30 a.m. by an explosion and a loud roar.
We are receiving multiple calls of an explosion in the area.
The 30-inch high-pressure pipeline exploding, sending a massive fireball 300 feet in the air.
Our windows were shaking really bad, and our doors, the ground, you could hear the ground just moving and tumbling and rolling.
Residents said it was like an atomic bomb.
It was just whipping around. It looked like a tornado, like a fire tornado.
Some suffering burns as they ran for their lives.
It was so hot, I don't see how we got out of there.
Daylight revealing a massive blast zone. At least 5 homes wiped from the map.
And here up close, you can see the power of those flames, the heat of that fire, the land here completely charred. In the distance there, look at those cars, destroyed, melted.
It looked like daytime. I mean, you could literally see everything at 1:30 in the morning.
Man, it's crazy.
The 9,000-mile pipeline carries natural gas from the Gulf of Mexico to the northeast. Authorities say a 58-year-old woman was killed. Officials believe she was trying to reach her neighbors but was overtaken by the heat. Several people were reported missing, but all are accounted for tonight.
After being at the scene, walking through, frankly, that is surprising. This could have been much, much worse.
Just extraordinary images. Alex Perez joins us live from where that pipeline exploded. And Alex, still no word on what caused this?
Yeah, David, the exact cause of all this remains a mystery. You can see all of that charred debris still behind me here. The NTSB will be sending a team of 3 investigators who will be working to pinpoint what exactly triggered all this. David?
Alex Perez leading us off tonight. Alex, thank you. Late today, a troubling emergency medical call coming in from the Kennedy compound in Hyannisport. That's on Cape Cod, of course. An ambulance arriving soon after. And ABC's Whit Johnson on what we know so far tonight.
Tonight, a medical emergency at the Kennedy compound in Hyannisport. 911 calls made just after 2:30 this afternoon. Hyannis Fire Rescue responding. An ambulance sent to the residence.
Engine 6 on location.
Bring that ambulance close to the front door. 30 minutes. We're ready to come back there. We're just preparing for you.
Details on the condition of the individual and who it was at this hour still unclear. The storied Cape Cod waterfront compound spans 6 acres. For years, the Kennedy family has used it as their retreat. President John F. Kennedy famously vacationing here with his family, using it as a base for his 1960 presidential campaign, and later as a summer White House.
And Whit Johnson with us tonight as well with the Kennedys and that Hyannisport compound. Obviously, so much history there. Any word from the Kennedy family tonight?
David, no official word yet from the Kennedy family, but we can confirm that emergency call came from the Kennedy family compound and that one person was transported to a local hospital. We know that the Kennedys spend a lot of time there, especially during the summer months. In fact, many were celebrating the 4th of July together just last month. David?
Whit Johnson with us tonight. Whit, thank you. We are also following another major headline developing at this hour, this one from North Korea. Yet another provocation, reports of 2 missiles fired. ABC's James Longman from London tonight with late reporting now.
Tonight, as nuclear negotiations with the US appear at a standstill, North Korea once again firing off projectiles for the 3rd time in just 2 weeks. South Korea's Joint Chiefs saying at least 2 missiles were fired. US officials confirming at least 1, and that they appear similar to the short-range ballistic missiles launched earlier this week. Kim Jong-un watching those tests closely, but a month after he met with President Trump at the demilitarized zone.
Would you like me to step across?
Today, President Trump downplaying these new tests, saying they don't stop his ability to negotiate with Kim.
Short-range missiles, we never made an agreement on that. I have no problem. We'll see what happens, but these are short-range missiles. They're very standard.
James Longman reporting in live tonight again from London, and these provocations taking place just as U.S. officials, James, and other leaders are set to meet there in the region tomorrow.
Yes, that's right, David. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is in Thailand, an annual Southeast Asian summit. Pompeo hoped he may discuss restarting negotiations with the North Koreans. They did not attend, but their presence very much felt there tonight. David?
James Longman. James, thank you. Back here at home, and there were extraordinary images that came in today of a plane making an emergency landing in Washington State. You can see the plane coming down on a highway, drivers right beneath the plane, an officer's camera recording the plane just as it was getting closer. Here's ABC's Clayton Sandell now.
In his 2-decade career, Washington State Trooper Clint Thompson never had a traffic stop like this.
An aircraft incident possibly just landed on Pacific Avenue.
That is a small airplane coming head-on into morning rush hour traffic in Parkland, south of Tacoma.
As it got closer, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. Like it was getting closer to the ground, so I decided to make it a U-turn.
Thompson spins his car around, clearing some space on the roadway turned runway as the pilot makes a wobbly but safe touchdown, even managing to stop before that red light.
That was crazy. I mean, you don't see a plane land in the middle of traffic every day. Kind of heroic on the officer's part.
That pilot, David Acklam, says he was flying to work when the engine quit.
Thanks to the State Patrol, and it's a good day to be alive.
There were no injuries and no damage. The FAA is now looking into the incident, and when asked if troopers trained for something like this, Trooper Thompson said, nope. David?
Clayton Sandell. Clayton, thank you. Here in New York City tonight, the emotional day in court. The Iraq veteran and father charged in the death of his 1-year-old twins after he left them in an overheated car in the Bronx. He was in court today holding his 2-year-old son. You can see his tearful wife there on his arm. The father saying it was all a tragic mistake and what prosecutors have decided for now. Here's ABC's Gio Benitez.
Tonight, a family in anguish. The father of those 1-year-old twins standing outside a New York court clutching an older son, his wife grieving by his side. This after a prosecutor chose to not move forward at this time with charges of manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide against Juan Rodriguez. Rodriguez allegedly telling police he left twins Luna and Phoenix for 8 hours in a sweltering car last week, discovering them on his way home from work.
He was going around the car, yelling and screaming. It's not my fault. It was an accident.
Rodriguez, a hospital social worker, barely able to keep his composure in court Saturday, sobbing uncontrollably.
And my client, if he could bring back time, certainly would do that.
Data shows that 43% of hot car cases deemed accidental resulted in no charges. Today, that prosecutor saying it will take weeks to determine if they'll pursue this case any further.
Obviously, the district attorney wants to ensure that there was no crime here, that there was no intent, that there was no criminality, and we believe that that's exactly what they'll find.
And David, tonight, the family lawyer says they are pushing for new laws to make every car alert parents about children in the back seat. David.
Gio Benitez tonight. Gio, thank you. President Trump tonight escalating his trade war with China, threatening new tariffs that they're coming soon, and they are sweeping. The Dow reacting immediately to the news today, plunging, closing down 280 points. And tonight, how it could affect the prices you pay on a whole range of goods. ABC's Kira Phillips is at the White House tonight.
Tonight, President Trump escalating his trade war with China, slapping a new 10% tariff on $300 billion worth of Chinese products.
For many years, China has been taking out hundreds of billions of dollars a year and rebuilding China. It's time that we rebuild our country.
The tariffs mean American shoppers could see prices go up on everything, from clothing to smartphones to TVs to toys. The Chamber of Commerce saying tonight the president's move will inflict greater pain on American businesses, farmers, workers, and consumers, and undermine an otherwise strong U.S. economy.
What do you say to American business owners and consumers who are going to pay the price for these tariffs, sir?
What would you say when China, for the last 20 years, has been taking hundreds of billions of dollars out of our country? So now it's time that we change things around. If they don't want to trade with us anymore, that would be fine with me.
But China buys billions of dollars in crops from American farmers, and they've responded with tariffs of their own. In May, with the trade war in full swing, we spoke with John Kiefner, a soybean farmer from Illinois.
And I'm preparing for the worst.
China bought 60% of U.S. soybean exports before the trade war started. Not anymore.
A lot of farmers are going to have to come up with alternative sources of income.
The president speaking to reporters before he headed off to a campaign rally in Ohio. At his last one, the crowd breaking out into a racist chant about Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who came to the U.S. as a refugee from Somalia. So if his supporters do it again tonight, will he try and stop them?
I don't know that you can stop people. I don't know that you can. I mean, we'll see what we can do. I'd prefer that they don't. But if they do it, we'll have to make a decision then.
Kira Phillips with us live at the White House tonight. And Kira, I also wanted to show another image coming in tonight, getting a lot of attention. I know you're aware of this photo of Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. She tweeted the image with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi just a short time ago. The two were in Ghana. And clearly this is meant as a show of solidarity tonight, Kira?
Indeed, David. Pelosi and Omar, part of a congressional delegation to Africa. Congresswoman Omar tweeting, they said send her back, but Speaker Pelosi didn't just make arrangements to send me back. She went back with me. David?
Kira, thank you. And of course, last night the Democrats were debating about those issues, the rhetoric from the White House, the escalating trade war with China. But it's former Vice President Joe Biden who is now fighting back tonight after taking incoming fire on that stage. They know right now Biden is the front runner. Our Mary Bruce tonight asking the questions today with the former vice president.
In Michigan today, Joe Biden said he was taken aback to see his Democratic rivals going after former President Barack Obama.
I was a little surprised at how much the incoming was about Barack, about the president. I mean, I'm proud of having served with him. I'm proud of the job he did.
On the debate stage, Biden under constant attack, forced to defend Obama's policies on deportations.
If you cross the border illegally, you should be able to be sent back. It's a crime.
First of all, Mr. Vice President, it looks like one of us has learned the lessons of the past and one of us hasn't.
Did you say those deportations were a good idea? Or did you go to the president and say, this is a mistake, we shouldn't do it? Which one?
I was vice president. I am not the president. I keep my recommendation in private.
You invoke President Obama more than anybody in this campaign. You can't do it when it's convenient and then dodge it when it's not.
Today, Biden defending the former president.
Voters want to know how you're going to be different than another 4 years of Barack Obama. On immigration, for instance, what are you going to do differently from Obama?
The world has changed since Obama. He focused on immigration, and what he did was serious. He changed the dialogue. He changed the whole question. He changed what was going on. And the idea that somehow it's comparable to what this guy's doing is absolutely bizarre.
Biden is also standing up for Obamacare after his plan to build on it came under repeated attack from Senator Kamala Harris.
For a Democrat to be running for president with a plan that does not cover everyone, I think is without excuse.
Biden firing back that Harris's own health care plan will take too long.
Anytime someone tells you you're going to get something good in 10 years, you should wonder why it takes 10 years.
You did spend a lot of time last night attacking Joe Biden on his health care plan. Any concern, though, that your plan and your proposals got lost, your message got lost in all of the attacks?
It's a complicated issue when you get into the details, so obviously a debate where you can talk for seconds. is probably not the best venue to actually describe the detail of it. I mean, to be very honest with you, it can be a frustrating process.
And Harris found herself under attack, too.
She put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people.
So let's get to Mary Bruce again tonight, live in Detroit. And Mary, these debates are really highlighting the divisions right now within the Democratic Party and these candidates. But today it seemed clear in your interview that the former Vice President Joe Biden is saying that he's the one who can win both progressives at one end and Trump voters as well.
Well, David, while his Democratic rivals are arguing over the future of the party, Biden is arguing that he is the most electable candidate. Today, he promised that he can deliver states like Ohio, Pennsylvania, and here in Michigan, these states that delivered Trump the White House. David.
Mary Bruce with us again tonight. Thank you, Mary. And we do have a sad update tonight after that fighter jet crash in California's Death Valley National Park. The Navy now confirming tonight the pilot did not survive when the Super Hornet jet crashed along a military training route for low-altitude flying. As we reported here, 7 people on the ground were injured. Now to that urgent manhunt for 2 escaped prisoners. The U.S. Marshals, we have learned, capturing one of them. The second fugitive tonight still considered armed and dangerous. Here's Steve Osunsami.
The federal manhunt is still on tonight for this fugitive, 34-year-old Chris Sanderson. Authorities at this jail in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, are now having to explain how he and 30-year-old Wesley Gullett were able to escape. The Jefferson County Sheriff says they left behind a dummy under a blanket in their cell. By the time his deputies noticed they were missing, they'd been gone for at least a day.
I'm gonna be honest with you, it comes back down to complacency. It comes down to just being lazy and not paying attention to what we're doing.
Federal prosecutors say Gullett is a violent white supremacist and the leader of the New Aryan Empire, a domestic terrorist group accused of attempted murder, kidnapping, and drug trafficking. He is pleading not guilty.
Put your hands on top of your head.
He's seen here being captured today.
U.S. Marshals are offering a $15,000 reward for Sanderson's arrest. He's facing federal gun and drug charges. He is pleading not guilty. He is considered armed and dangerous. David?
All right, Steve. Thank you. One mix of other news tonight in that deadly crane collapse in Miramar, Florida. Police say a driver was killed after crashing into a highway construction zone into a crane that then came down on its SUV. Police say there were multiple road closure and detour signs beforehand. Another alarming find tonight by the TSA. For the second time this week, officers discovering a missile launcher at BWI Airport in Baltimore. They say an Air Force sergeant was bringing it home as a souvenir. Tonight, researchers are working on a blood test to detect possible signs of Alzheimer. Scientists are looking for changes in the blood linked to a protein buildup in the brain. They believe the test is up to 94% accurate, but they do say it'll be some time before that test is available. And Major League suspensions tonight just in. 6 players and 2 managers fined and suspended for that huge brawl between the Pirates and the Reds in Cincinnati. Reds pitcher Muir Garrett charging toward the Pirates dugout. Pirates pitcher Kewoni Kela getting the worst of it, suspended 10 games. Garrett suspended 8 games. Look at that list. Good night here.